I'm Dawn Flanigan. Welcome to Terp Talk. Today we're going to talk about interpreter burnout. And this can happen to sign language interpreters or foreign language interpreters. And with me today is Peggy.
Hello.
Interpreter burnout is one of our favorite subjects to talk about.
When you told me about this today, I basically started laughing hysterically.
So, Peggy, have you ever felt interpreter burnout? And if you have, what did it feel like?
I've felt it often. It feels like the weight of the world. You get very, very tired. You are tired all the time. The thought of going to work makes you, it's just like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Your arms start aching, your hands start aching, your head starts pounding. You just almost go into a panic attack. It can get that severe. You just don't want to deal with anything that has to do with work.
Have you ever noticed something in particular sets it off? Like what puts you into the burnout? Is it being overworked? Is it a particular job?
A lot of times it's a particular job for me.
Mhm.
Like, I love mental health, but we went through a stretch where it was mental health for like 3 months straight. And that's about all I was doing. And I was just feeling fried by it. It was
Yeah.
just because that is a job that is mentally wearing, physically wearing, and emotionally wearing, because you're
Absolutely.
dealing with your client's emotions as well as your own emotions. Because as much as you don't think that something's triggering you, sometimes stuff triggers you. And unless you deal with that at home or with friends or whatever, you can get into a bad spiral yourself.
I remember I felt interpreter burnout really bad one time when I was working in a school and one of the little boys looked just like my dad did when he was a kid. Like, we always had a lot of pictures around the house. And I mean, I looked at this kid and I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks just like my dad. Well, then he went into a counseling session, wanted me to interpret for him. So I went and interpreted, and it was a really bad situation for him. And I didn't mean to internalize it, but it was like it felt like it was happening to my dad or something, because of the way he looked. I mean, just like my dad, little ears popping out, the dark hair, the way that it was cut. And that was really interesting because I didn't realize that I could be triggered into a burnout like that.
Mhm.
I mean, it just happened and I had to take some time off
Yeah.
because I was over involved with that child at that point because I wanted to help. And I'm just the interpreter. I hate to say that, but I was just the interpreter and I had to take some time off. It was bad.
Especially with sign language interpreters. I know foreign language is more, they say, well, they said, and that sign language interpreters, we speak as that person. So the idea of internalizing is much stronger within the sign language realm than it is in the foreign language realm. But it can still be there because they're still saying these things. They're still hearing themselves say these things.
They're involved in a situation, One time I was interpreting at a probation hearing and I didn't think it would be anything problematic.
Mhm.
And here it was a child molester, and the probation person wanted them to state how they felt, what they were doing while they were doing it. And I'm having to voice all of this. Had I realized and known, I wouldn't have taken that one just because I'm a mom, I have children. It would have definitely triggered me. I know that
Oh,
it would
yeah.
have. And so that was my fault. I didn't ask enough questions. So how can you prevent burnout? Ask questions about your jobs
That's
and
one
make
thing.
sure it's not going to be a trigger for you. Right?
Yes. The other thing that can cause burnout is not taking time for yourself. So as interpreters, We have this mentality that we can't say no because if it's not us, then who? And we have to stop. We have to
Right.
stop at some point and say, it can't be me. I'm notorious for taking on too much. I am notorious for taking on too
Yes,
much.
I will agree.
I have to learn to say no.
Yes.
And because there are times when I look at how many hours I worked in a week and I'm like, oh,
Well, and even though there's an interpreter shortage, I think sometimes you get into that brain set. Well, I'm going to take that work now because I don't know if it'll be here next week.
feast or famine.
And let me tell you, it's going to be there next week.
Oh, yeah.
We could hire 4 more sign language interpreters full time, and they would be working as many hours as they were willing to take. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just there is such a shortage.
Yeah.
So,
There are times when they've called me to work and I've said, I can't. I physically, mentally, and emotionally cannot take work at this time.
and there's so many out of state companies now that are emailing every
Yep.
day. I have probably 7 or 8 every day in my email. You know, hey, looking for interpreters. Hey, you want to work? We've got this job. That I think sometimes just having so much thrown at you can make you feel overworked and you're not even working. It's just that so many people want you,
Yes.
you know.
So do you notice, like, when I work at a hospital or whatever, even if I'm taking a long shift, I'll take long shifts. It's not active interpreting. So that's one thing. If it was like active interpreting, I'd be calling the agency saying, hey,
I need somebody.
I need somebody. I do get looks from staff. They're like, must be nice to have your job. All you do is sit and you do nothing. You just go in there once. And I'm like,
Okay.
what are you talking about?
I think every interpreter listening to this podcast would say the exact same thing, that they have had a nurse or an aide or somebody. It must be nice to have your job. You're just reading.
It's exhausting.
Mhm.
A 12-hour shift, even though we're not actively interpreting, is still exhausting. And foreign language, I know, feel the same way. It just
Because
being
you have
there,
to be ready at any moment to interpret.
you cannot shut down.
What I believe is the best way to avoid interpreter burnout is to ask questions so that you don't get triggers.
Fair.
Know what your boundaries are.
Fair.
Have someone who's a colleague that you can talk to.
Most important.
And it should be someone in the industry who is bound to the same code of ethics that you are.
Yes.
Or it should be a professional therapist. I mean, a lot of interpreters go to therapy, and there is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
That's actually healthy. Get that information out so that you don't own it anymore. You
Mhm.
know, get it out, talk to somebody, and then, you know, sometimes that's just a help right there so that it stops spinning around in your head.
As interpreters, we're involved in different realms. I've done religious interpreting in the past, and one of the tenets is, give it to God. And that can be in this situation too. For those who have a strong enough belief, if you do not have somebody that you can talk to one-on-one,
Mhm.
you can always turn to
Your higher power.
to your higher power, whatever your higher power may be. For some, it's, God. For others, it's, a plant. And I'm not dismissing anybody's higher power. They are all equal.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
whatever you see as your higher power, but talk to somebody, even if it's your dog or your cat. My
Yeah.
poor Eli is probably sick of hearing my stories.
I'm famous in the car and for getting in the car after a job, calling a colleague and just, de-stressing, just getting it out.
Yes.
And I think that you can't talk about interpreter burnout without talking about vicarious trauma. So, what is vicarious trauma? That is when you have taken on the emotions of what has happened. You internalize these situations to the point where you cannot stop thinking about them, no matter how much you talk about them. You yourself become physically ill from the situations because it's just so distressing to you. So there's like burnout, and then the next step would be vicarious trauma. And you can avoid that as well by knowing what are you interpreting and making sure that it's not a trigger, talking to somebody. And if you really feel like you're experiencing vicarious trauma, I think you need to go to a professional.
It's too easy to spiral.
It
and,
is.
you know, spiraling can look different for everybody. You know, there are times when I get really bad that I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to get up. And in the past, some of our interpreter colleagues have turned to other substances.
Right.
And, you know, for those of you who are dealing with either other substances or with negative thoughts, please seek help. You
Absolutely.
know, we need you. Your families need you.
And it's not a weakness to ask for help.
It's not. Actually, it's probably the strongest thing you could ever do because it's not easy.
I agree.
But again, contact local mental health facilities, find substance abuse help, you know, find those hotlines and get in touch with them because they do help. They do help.
Absolutely. And that actually shows that you're a stronger person.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Because it's not easy.
It is not. It's not easy to admit that you have something going on. And then it's not easy to admit and ask for help.
What do you do for yourself? Like one of my big things to try and push back burnout is to find things that I enjoy doing.
Yes.
So what are the things do you find help you? Like, what do you enjoy doing?
So I am a movie person. Movie, TV, I love it. And I know it's, you know, it's like a vegetative state kind of thing. But if I am really feeling burned out, like, or I just had a job that is really affecting me, even by myself, I'll go see a movie because then I can just relax. I can get involved in something else. My brain then, you know, you're watching the movie, you're really getting into the movie. And then, you know, I do feel better when I come out because I've had time to de-stress and relax and change the thought pattern of my brain. You know, I really find that changing the thought pattern of my brain is helpful. Talking to a girlfriend and going out, and hopefully she's got some problems that we can deal with, and you know what I mean? Like changing my thought process. If I can do that, that really helps a lot. That's what gets me through. Yeah. What about you? What is your favorite thing to do?
Crafts. I love diamond painting. It's that repetitive motion back and forth between the tray and my canvas and going back and forth. It allows me to be busy. It's like my fidget toy. It allows my hands to still be busy, and it allows my brain to either think and break down what I'm talking about, or I can keep going, you know, and I do Lego.
Oh, right.
Lego.
Again, it's changing that thought process of your brain. Now you're focused on something else, and it's kind of mindless.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it is a Lego thing, and you got to follow the directions, it's still like relaxing for your brain. And you can still
throw on an audiobook, and I'm a big reader, so I throw on an audiobook and have at it, and so it allows me to desensitize. But that and other things that I've heard, you know, exercise. I love walking, so those are the big ones for me.
Yeah, I think it's really important that every interpreter find what helps them de-stress. Is it a coloring book? Is it diamond art? Is it going to a movie? Is it watching your favorite television program for the 500th time? You know, reading a book. I think everyone should have that person that they can talk to, right? You should have something that you know de-stresses you so that you can, when you have a tough situation and you can't find your person to talk to, you can just de-stress. And watching for those triggers, knowing what you're walking into and being emotionally prepared for them.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking in your head, okay, this is going to be a tough one. I think if you know it's going to be tough before you walk in, it's a little easier to handle the situation than having it sprung on you. Like, oh, today we're going to tell this person they have cancer. Oh, okay, because I had no idea. And now I've got to help share this terrible news. And it is. We're the ones giving the news. The doctor's saying it, but we're the ones signing it.
So again, I'm the one who throws it out to everybody. Oh, what do you do? What do you guys do for yourself as interpreters, as students, as whoever is paying attention and following through? What do you guys do to stop the burnout? Burnout can hit students, it can hit interpreters,
Oh,
it
yeah.
can hit business owners, it can hit anybody. So what
Yeah.
do you guys do? Let's get a list going.
That would be great because sometimes you don't think about something,
Yeah.
that you could do to de-stress. So having everyone comment what you do, and or who do you talk to? Do you go to a therapist? I think it would be great if people see that other people, they do seek help.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And you don't need to share any details.
No, don't share the details.
No details. Just say you see someone. That's good enough.
Yeah. But I think that would be helpful for everyone to have that list. And I'll be looking at that list.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you can always throw the ideas in a jar, and when things are going south, open your jar, close your eyes, pull out. What am I doing today?
Absolutely.
So
thank you, Peggy. As always, it was a wonderful conversation. I hope you guys have learned something. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please make sure to subscribe, share, like, and comment. And again, we really would like to know, what do you do to de-stress and help the burnout? I think that would be helpful for everyone. So thank you so much.